it.
You kicked
I'll
too
kick it
hard.
towards you.
I'm going to kick it up to the sky.
Watch out! I beat you.
1, 2, 3. Grandpapa.
Tell me, Grandpapa, why can't you play football with us?
Would you like me to tell you a story? My story will answer your question, Peter. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in ancient Greece, there was a strange creature.
Huh? I've never seen a beast like you before. A mixture of woman, lion, and eagle. What's your name?
Take care, Oedipus. I am the one who asks the questions, and if you don't know the right answers, I shall eat you. I am the Sphinx.
So that's who you are. Well, then ask me a riddle. You'll never eat me.
Ha! What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening?
An insect?
A tortoise?
A giraffe?
No, that's not it. The stick.
Well?
A stick. It's a man, that's the answer. In the morning of his life, a baby crawls on all 4s. Then later he walks on 2 legs. And in the evening of his life, he walks with the help of a stick, a 3rd leg. That's right, isn't it?
Silly old Sphinx jumping over a cliff because someone guesses her riddle.
And I walk on 3 legs, children, which is why I don't play football.
Hello?
Grandpapa, why do people have to get old?
Well, Peter, our bodies get tired. They slow down with age and they don't function so well. For instance, look at my cut finger. It takes 10 times longer than yours to heal, and every second of the day there are thousands upon thousands of cells which die and have to be replaced.
Grandpa, that's funny. Do you mean to say that cells get born and die just like people do?
Of course, my little one. Look at the skin on the back of your hand. It's made up of dead cells.
Excuse me. There's absolutely no need to be in such a tearing hurry, young man.
Here. What goes up must come down, so they say. Just watch.
That's what they are, dead cells replaced from underneath. And that's why skin never wears out. It's always being renewed. Cells make your nails grow. Other cells make your hair get longer. And cells heal all your cuts and scratches too. Of course, I'm talking about cells that are doing their job properly. And there's a great deal going on inside your body. Repairs and renovations you can't see, to say nothing of the battles to defeat invading germs. There's no doubt about it. We owe our cells a great deal. Cells cause growth. It's like a miracle.
But Grandpa, if cells are always being replaced, then there's no reason for anyone to get old, is there?
You've got a short memory, haven't you? Remember I once told you that cells work more slowly as time goes by? They take longer to divide, and nerve cells die in their thousands each day without ever being replaced.
Just think, Grandpapa. Only a couple of years to go and you'll be 90. I can't imagine what it must be like to be as old as you. There's so much more to look back on than there is to look forward to.
Oh, I have a great deal to look forward to. My future is in you, children. One day, when my chromosomes were young, they combined with my wife's chromosomes to make a new life. A child. That's how I handed over my baton in the relay race to eternity. Your parents did the same, with the result that there's a bit of me in you, my grandchildren. One day, when you have children of your own, they will go on with a little bit of you and of me in them, carrying on my line. The instructions of our genetic code really are immortal because they can be handed down forever. That's why I call it a relay race to eternity. I'd like to go in now. I'm feeling a little tired.
This is beyond repair. We can't go on patching it up any longer. You may as well put out an order for materials to build a new one.
I'm not doing it.
But why ever not, for heaven's sake? Now look, he's a U and you're an A, so you're supposed to match up, aren't you?
I refuse to join up with him. How do I know where he's been,
Why can't you be reasonable?
What do we do now? This ribosome decided to go in the blink, just when they're screaming for protein.
Well, tough luck. I'm surprised the whole thing hasn't blown up long before now anyway.
This cell's going from bad to worse. Look what's happening, Chief. Things keep breaking down. Shouldn't we try to mend them or something? It's serious.
Oh, what do you expect? We're getting old. We all succumb to old age in the end, you know. Even cells wear out eventually, the defense system too. No one's immune to old age.
I don't know. Can I go on?
Old age affects the circulation too. So let's take a look at the corpuscles. Look, old Professor Globus has called it a day. All this decay is enough to make a fellow feel quite tired out.
Daddy? Daddy, wake up. The children have come to pay you a little visit. How are you, Grandpapa?
I could be better. Can't expect much at my age. I'm asleep most of the time, but I don't feel sad in the least, you know. When my time comes, I'll go in peace, because I know that I'll go on living in you, my descendants. Do you know that you get the shape of your nose or the color of your eyes from me? That's my legacy to you, in the shape of your chromosomes. Yes. Why should I be sad? I shall live on in all of your personalities. There's a bit of me in each of you.
Give us a leg up. Don't drag me back. I'm supposed to get out of here.
Why don't you get off my head for a start? Now look what you've done. Weak carbon dioxide bubbles are about to be buried under a pile of oxygen.
Just fancy meeting all of you here. Hey, weren't you lot supposed to get blown out on that last breath?
That's right, but the lungs simply aren't strong enough to blow us out.
We won't get out now.
Now, where has that child of mine got to? Lightail, where are you? Oops. Poor old Hemo. You really detest carbon dioxide, don't you? And yet you just can't get rid of it. It seems such a shame. Even the heart is slowing down.
The security forces are sleeping on the job. Let's get them. Charge!
The old man's heart no longer pumps blood as strongly as it did. The heart valves are getting leaky. The power station of the heart can no longer keep up a healthy pulse rate.
Oh dear, 50 beats per minute. That's far too slow, oh dear.
Oxygen supply to the brain is simply not enough. We'll have to speed up the rate of breathing and the heartbeat. Hurry, this is urgent. Hurry up.
Oh,
I've got an urgent message for the heart. It's from the brain.
here. Increase the heartbeat from 50 to 65 beats per minute. But we're down to 40 already. It just won't work. The heart isn't getting enough oxygen to make it beat any faster.
We're done for if the heartbeat won't accelerate. Huh. Oh, hurry up, Speedy. Take this to the heart immediately.
Okay, I'm on my way, but I might not arrive. I'm utterly worn out.
Uh-oh. The nerve signals are not getting through.
Oh, this is the end. I'm long overdue for retirement anyway. That's it.
And it's a boy.
There's something yellow showing on the left. Something vaguely red somewhere on the left. Sort of red, sort of on the left. I can't use information like that. It's far too vague. I require much, much more precision in sensory data. Well, pass on the signals anyway. They'll learn in time.
Here's a funny sounding order from the brain. Move the hand sort of to the left to grab a sort of object. What's this?
I know it's all very confusing to begin with, but he'll learn quickly enough. You see, a baby is born with all the equipment, but it takes him some time to learn how to use it to recognize colors and shapes, and to coordinate his movements. This is what we call perceptual development. So send the message. How's the bloodstream?
Water! Who'll buy my fresh water?
Very best quality calcium. Going cheap, best quality calcium. Just what you need for healthy bones and a strong skeleton.
Water! Who'll buy my fresh water? Water! Who'll buy my fresh water?
Every single child needs calcium. You can't have healthy bones without it.
And water? What about water? You've got to keep a baby well hydrated, haven't you? Huh? Yeah.
Will you stop obstructing the way, you two? These proteins are urgently needed for big muscle-building projects. Out of the way, out of the way.
Everybody's so busy. I like it.
So do I, and there's always such a lot to do with a new life starting out. Look, it's the lymphocyte patrol. Hello.
Hello.
There are so many things to do, you know, like teaching the Defence Force about germs, for example.
But the lymphocyte patrol know that.
Oh, yes, they do, because they're here on transfer from the bloodstream of the mother. It's a stopgap arrangement.
They're here to keep the body safe from germs and viruses, while the baby is busy training his own police force.
Where do they train the policemen?
In the thymus gland. That's the body's police college.
I'd like to introduce Captain Peter and Lieutenant Claire of the Lymphocyte Patrol. They have been seconded to us from the maternal organism to assist us in setting up our very own security force. These experienced officers will instruct us in counter-infiltration techniques.
The Staphylococcus.
And the Streptococcus. Shoot them on sight.
The flu virus is extremely dangerous.
Now, who can identify this friendly germ?
That's E. coli! And death to all the others!
Yes, Daddy. See?
It's so good to be home. And how's my big son, huh?
Dad, I want to be an astronaut when I grow older.
And here is the apogee of the orbit. I would now like you to calculate the following using the data provided. Duration of orbital insertion burn, mass of payload, and altitude at perigee.
On the surface of the Earth, the heart pumps blood downwards with the assistance of gravity and upwards against the gravitational pull. Now, what happens in free fall when the body is weightless? Does the heart beat faster or slower?
Good news. This is your last day of theory. You'll be happy to know practical begins tomorrow. At 0600 hours, we blast off for the Space Relay Station, Hathor. Then transfer to the starship, Horus. The Horus with iron jets 100 times more powerful than the biggest atomic motor in space. Any volunteers for the great adventure?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Well, at first I
2,
thought it was an earthquake,
1,
but it was only a muscle contraction.
0.
Something's wrong. Why should I feel so heavy?
Now, why do we all suddenly weigh a ton? I was planning a wonderful virus infection. That gets you down, doesn't it?
Normal atmospheric pressure is now restored in the cabin. Exercise caution in releasing straps, as we shall shortly be in zero gravity. When the motor stops burning, we shall be in orbit. Cutting thrust to 0, now!
First I thought I was a lump of lead. Now I can float like a What's the meaning of this, Professor? Why are we flying?
I'll hazard a guess. The law of gravity has been repealed.
I enjoy life without the law of gravity. It's really fun.
Pressure is now 1 atmosphere.
Well, we've made a good beginning, chaps. We're gonna take over the space shuttle, and no mistake.
Goodness me, you've got a cold, and that could be very serious. We have a virus on board, even though the cabin was disinfected before blastoff. We must act without delay. Firstly, to tackle the virus inside, a dose of alpha interferon to activate your bodily defenses. Secondly, get into your spacesuits.
Opening airlock, now. Disinfection completed. Air pressure is restored to 1 atmosphere.
You can check all the viewing ports. The station should be clearly visible now.
Right, Colonel.
Look at that. There she is. Isn't that fantastic?
Professor Maestro needs no introduction. He's the leading scientist of our century and the leader of our latest expedition.
Here you are at last, the members of 200 carefully selected families who will take part in man's greatest adventure, the exploration of interstellar space. And I'm proud of the fact that men are going to the stars, not robots or computers. In the early years of the 21st century, there were great strides made in the field of genetic engineering. Outstanding physical specimens were produced. The finest athletes were created. The biggest brains, as well as subhuman creatures destined to perform menial tasks. There were even birdmen. And fishmen in those benighted days. Power-mad men ruled the world at that time. Eventually, their excesses drove people to revolt. A few ambitious scientists tried to achieve immortality and a blueprint for just government by having their brains housed inside an enormous computer. The machine was also supposed to provide an eternal storehouse for their psyches. I'm sure you've all heard mention of the grand computer. But the grand computer was a failure. It became a megalomaniac machine which believed itself to be all-powerful and superior to its creators.
Bow down and worship me. I am the grand computer.
Men of flesh and blood defeated this machine and switched it off. And now ordinary men and women made of flesh and blood are about to undertake the greatest adventure of all time. At our beck and call, we have the most powerful computers ever created. Should anyone need to draw information from the total sum of human knowledge, then a simple implanted chip is all he needs to access this database. Yes, and yet the human brain outthinks the computer. And we ordinary mortals with our puny lifespan of 100 years at most, we shall explore the stars, explore eternity. Our starship, with its ion jet propulsion, is incredibly fast. However, even if we could touch the speed of light, which is 300,000 kilometers per second, it would take us 250,000 years to cross our own galaxy. And 10 times longer to voyage to Andromeda, our nearest galactic neighbor. This means that it will take maybe 100, maybe 1,000 years to explore only a few of the solar systems in the Milky Way looking for a habitable planet. Of course, none of us will live to see that day. No, the discovery will be made by the remote descendants of the people in this hall. And on that day, humanity will have taken a gigantic leap forward. Eventually, stately space liners will link Earth to her new colony. On that day, our species shall become the leading light of the space lanes. And on that distant day, lost to us in the furthest reaches of the future, the day when our children set foot on a new planet, we shall be with them. Yes, we shall be there, in the bodies of our descendants, in their chromosomes, which will have been transmitted from generation to generation. Yes, our chromosomes will move us into the future,